Doing the no spend challenge has really got me thinking, how is this different than what I was doing already? And to be honest, most days I don't even notice the difference. I was already living pretty frugally and buying very rarely. But I did make a list of 8 things that I refuse to pay for or spend money on even before my no spend challenge. So here they are. Number 1 is cable subscriptions. Most young people don't have cable and they have streaming services instead. But when I first got married, I did have a cable subscription. And then when the price went up, I couldn't justify keeping it. I don't watch TV. We didn't have kids at the time. The only one that was watching it was my husband, but he was out of the house working most of the time and our TVs were off all day. So I can truly say that was a waste of money. Number 2 is bank fees. I had a checking account with one of the major banks that had fees unless you got them waived by meeting certain requirements. One was direct deposit and the other one was swiping your card a certain amount of times during the month. When the pandemic started, I left my job and so I no longer had direct deposit. I was paying $12.99 a month to keep this account open. And I could not believe it. But this account was where all my bills came out of. You know, I was just lazy and I did not want to go through the hassle of changing all of my payments that were already set up. So I just left it like that until one day when my checks ran out. Yes, I still use checks for mortgage purposes, but my checks ran out and I went in to order some more and I was prompted to buy more checks, and that was just enough for me. I said, you know what? Today's the last day. And I researched free bank accounts that provide free checks. I found one, I opened it, I printed the previous month's bank statement from the bank I had, and I just went down the list, ticking off every single bill. So I set up all the new auto pays with the new information from my new bank. And then I called and closed the account. I thought it was going to be very time consuming, but it wasn't. They actually even closed the account very quickly. Number 3 is late fees and overdraft fees. I do have a specific bank account set up for just bills, and they are all set up with auto pay. By tracking my expenses, I know exactly how much needs to be in there. So at the beginning of the month, I just put all my money in there that I know needs to be paid that month, and then all the payments come out automatically. This way I don't have to worry about missing a payment and accruing a late fee. And by keeping enough money in the account, I don't have to worry about overdraft fees. I realize that maybe not everyone has the ability to put the whole amount at the beginning of the month, but depending on how often you get paid and keeping track of when your bills are due, you can set up a chunk of your paycheck each month and separate it towards your bills, and that way it will be the same effect. Number 4 is MLMs. So I was part of not one but 2 multi-level marketing companies, and what can I say? The promise of being your own boss, making money while helping other people do the same, it sells you, but I've come to realize that these companies are money pits and time suckers that leave you worse off than you start. When you join these kinds of companies, generally you are looking for a way to better yourself and are not in the greatest financial situation, and they really take advantage of this. Another thing is that they really are time consuming. They just suck up all your time. They claim that you're gonna have financial freedom and freedom to be with your family, but they require all your time. So never in my life will I ever spend money joining an MLM again. And I know that the people that try to recruit you and try to make you join their team are not ill-intentioned, but just be careful, do your research, and try to stay away from these kinds of companies. Okay, let's move on. Number 5, ATM fees. Like the bank fees, I just cannot justify paying a fee to get my own money. I just cannot. The way that I avoid this, even though I don't usually carry cash, if I know I am going to be needing cash that day, I will stop by the bank beforehand. And if I did not know I was going to need cash that day, I'll just ask if they take Zelle or another type of electronic payment. If they don't, I do have the option to use my bill account that I was talking about earlier, because they have a feature where they reimburse you a certain amount of ATM fees. I have never had to use this feature, but I know it's an option if I do need it. Number 6 is haircuts and hair processing. Can you tell? I am not brave enough to cut my own hair and do like crazy things to it on my own, but I am fortunate enough that one of my sisters went to cosmetology school. She does not do this for a living anymore, but if I need a haircut or a hair color or whatever process I want to do to my hair, she is willing to do it for me. We still do pay for my husband's haircuts because my sister doesn't like to do men's hair, but that's okay because she still does my hair and my daughter's hair. And no, I don't pay her. She's my sister. Okay, so number 7 is brand new cars. Brand new cars pretty much lose value as soon as you step into them. And they are generally pricier, which means you would have to finance it, which brings up the cost even more. And it's just too much for me. For that reason, I have never had a brand new car. I'm okay with that because I have also never had a car note or a car payment or whatever people call them. I wouldn't know. The car I drive now is a 2013 and it's been with us for about 4 or 5 years. I want to say 5. I've never had a problem with it like at all. It drives great and it's a good size for our family. And it looks good too. Number 8 is credit score. I don't think you should be paying anyone to let you know what your credit score is. You are entitled to one very detailed itemized credit score per year. If you want to track it monthly or more often than that, you can generally get this service through your bank or your credit cards. If your bank or credit card does not offer this feature, you can always use one of those free apps that you can track your credit score with. Those may not be as accurate, but at least it gives you an idea of where you stand. Those are 8 things that I refuse to spend money on. Do you have anything that you just cannot bring yourself to spend on? Please let me know in the comments, and I'll see you Thursday.